Hola amigos, this is Somveer and welcome to Learning Boards. In the previous video, we have created custom models for our curriculum application. In this video, we will use class-based views to show our info. We will create templates for them and we will use custom template tagging. We will map the URLs according to our application. And finally, I will try to add some information so that we can see something on our website. Let's get started. So these are models in our curriculum application. Let's hop to views.py and start creating our views. For that we will need to create some classes or class views. Let me import some views. I will import template view, detail view, list view, form view from django.views.generic. So let's create our first class-based view. We can create a view using minimal lines. If I create a class standard list view which will show all of my standards as in 6th, 7th class, 8th class, etc. and I am going to use a list view. I am providing a model for our class that is standard we created in the last video. I will provide a template name. We will be creating this in a moment, and context object name. In this case our context will be the model standard and we will be calling it standards, giving it the name context object name. Let's import our model. We will import standard, subject and lesson from our models. Let me quickly create a template and show you how it can be done. Before that, I will go to home.html and I will rename it to base.html so that I can use it to extend my different templates. Renaming this to base.html. We have already created a block. Let's go to curriculum and create one templates folder. Under this template I will create a new folder with the application name of curriculum, and under this curriculum folder I will create a HTML file which we will pass in our view and which is standardlistview.html. So if I create a new file with the same name, we already know it is very conventional and very easy to use templates in a different folders. We have seen this in our previous application of app users. Let me paste some code here. I will extend from base.html and in the content block I will show my information. To show our data, I have already added some data in our standard model. So I will directly show my information here. I will be using for loop for standard in standards. Remember we gave the context object name as standards. I will close the for loop first and here I will insert my data which will be standard.name. We have created our standard list view. Let's quickly add the URL. For that, first of all we need to include this in our project URLs. So we will go to project urls.py. Under here we will add path, curriculum, and we will include all the URLs from curriculum.urls. If we go to curriculum.urls, we see we don't have one, so we will create a new file urls.py. Under urls.py, I will paste some code. I will import path. I will import views from curriculum. I am giving a app name that is curriculum and which will help us in determining where we want to redirect our user. It will be clear in a moment. Then we will add URL patterns. We are giving a blank string to our first path because in our settings.urls or the project.urls we have already included curriculum/. So the first thing it will redirect to is the blank path, which is this one. So we are providing standard list view as view and we are providing a name of standard list. So we have created a view, we have created one template and we have provided the path. The last thing will be to go to base.html and include a navigation or a button. For that, I will use an anchor tag, and in the URL I will use curriculum standard list. So this is the app name we just defined, and standard list is the name of the path we gave, and we will call it standards. Let's run our server and see how it looks. So this is our home page. If we refresh it, we see we have standards button. If we click on it, we can see here we have 6th class, 7th class, 8th class, 9th class, and so on, which means we are able to use class based view to get data on web. So let me quickly make it a little more presentable. If we come to our standard list view.html, so I have provided one anchor tag and a breaker. So this anchor tag will also help us in getting into the details of the standard or the next page. Let's see how it looks on browser. So in browser we can see this is a little more presentable with the links. If we go back to views.py, now the next step is to include some chapters into the class. So let's say in 6th class we have math, science, physics, history, etc. etc. For that, I am going to use the standard model again, but I will use the detail view. With the help of this I am able to achieve that. So I am again giving the model standard. Template name will be subject list view.html, and I am again calling my object as standards. So let's create a HTML file of subject list view. So we will again extend and put some block. So this is our basic format. Let's put some information here. We need to present all the subjects inside the standard. So I will use this for loop, which will iterate through every subject in the standards by using subjects.all. So the logic behind this is, if we go to our models.py, in the subjects class or model, we have used a foreign key of standard and we have given the related name of subjects, and this subjects related name is used in our HTML file to filter all the objects that is under a specific subject. We will present subject name and a description, and this is a filter which will truncate characters up to 75 characters. Let's quickly give a URL for this. But before providing URL for this page, we need to provide a link or anchor tag link to our previous page, that is standard list view, so that we can get subjects of that particular standard. If we go to standard list HTML, we have used one anchor tag. Now let's give link to this. We will use template tagging. We will provide one URL. This URL will redirect to curriculum, and let's say subject list, and here along with this we will be providing slug, and which will be standards.slug. So let me tell you about this slug. Remember, in our models.py we have given slug to everything, so we will use this slug to redirect our user to a specific page. So our standard list view will look something like this, where we will provide the slug of a standard to get the subjects of this standard. Now if we go to urls.py to create a path for it, here we will use this path, and we are providing the slug, and we are using this to get our next web path. We are using subject list view, and we are giving it a name of subject list. So let's see how this looks on our web. So this is our standards list. Let's refresh it, and I have added data in the 6th class. So let's see how it looks. If we go to 6th class, we can see we have mathematics, science and social studies. I have already provided anchor tags to this so that we can see the links. In the web path we can see we have a string. So this is basically the slug of our 6th class standard, and it will be used to get subjects of 6th class. Now we need to click on this subject and get lessons inside this subject. Let's see how we can do this. If we go to views.py, So just like we use detail view of standard to get the subjects, we will use detail view of subject to get lessons. So this will be our class, and let's quickly make lesson list view.html. Let's create a new file. So let's add some basic code. Let's put our information here. So lesson model is connected to subject model with the related name of lesson, so that we can use this to get all the lesson under a subject. So I will iterate through every lesson and I will provide the position and the name in front of chapter to see it. Before adding this to our urls.py, let's go back to subjects list. Let's provide a link here which will connect us to all the lessons in the subject. But before that, let me show you something. If we go to our browser, we see that we have already provided the slug for our standard. Now we need a link like in 6th class, let's say mathematics. Now we need to go under 6th class and mathematics. So we will need to provide slug for this as well as this subject. Let me quickly show how we can do it. If we go to subject list, so here it is our subject list. So I will give a link that will look something like this. So we will be redirecting it to curriculum lesson list, which will provide all the lessons. Along with it, we need to provide standard slug, which is 6th class, and we need to provide this slug of subject, that is mathematics or science. Now we can provide link in our URLs. In our urls.py, let me create a path for it. So our path will look something like this. Here we are providing slug, and this slug is subjects.slug we are redirecting, and we are also providing a string, and this will be standard. So it will be 6th class and mathematics. We are using lesson list view as view, and we are providing a name of lesson list. Let's save this and see how it looks in our browser. So this is our subject list view. If we refresh this and we go to mathematics, we can see we have chapter. This is our position or the chapter number, and we have our chapter name. We can see that we have 6th class and the slug of our subject. Now we will use all the same logic to get into probability or any other chapter. We will also need to give in our path the subject and the standard, and along with it we need to give the lesson name. So let's see how we can do all that. So let me again use detail view, and this time we will be using lesson model to get our lesson details, and the object name will be lessons. Let us quickly create lesson detail view.html, and in our lesson detail view we will just use simple code. Here we are just showing the created by and who created the lesson, just to give an idea of how it is working. Again, before adding to urls.py, let us create one link on the previous page, that is lesson list. If we go to lesson list view.html, here we have to give a URL of something like this. So let me explain it to you. So we will redirect the user to lesson detail. We will give a name of standard, which will be standard.slug. We will give the name of subject, which will be subject.slug, and we will give the slug of the lesson, so that is lesson.slug. And if we go to urls.py, giving it a path, it will look something like this, where we are providing a string of standard, that is 6th class, string of subject, that will be mathematics, and slug, which will be probability or any other lesson. We are using lesson detail view as view, and we are giving a name of lesson detail. So let's go to our browser and see how it is working. In our browser, this is our lesson list view. If we click on the chapter, it will redirect us to a page where we can see 6th class, subject, and the chapter name. As I have told you, I am just showing created on and created by, just to give you an idea of how this is working. With this, I would like to conclude the video here only. Quickly recapping what we did in the video is, first of all, we used some class-based views to create views. We created templates using the custom template tagging and inserting context of our model. After that, we used Django template URL tagging to connect one page to other. We have provided custom path to our models or the web pages, and we were able to see the information linked to each other on our website. So this is basically how a student will see the website, where we can only see the information. In the next video, we will see how we can create, delete or update lessons or any other subjects, which can be only done by teachers or the admin of the website. For that, we will be using different class-based views, which are delete view, update view and create view. So stay tuned for my future videos. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let me know anything in the comments. I will meet you with a new video next time. Until then, this is Somveer taking your leave. Adios.